afraid, Rich. You know, all this stuff is happening in the neighborhood, and you know, I don't know whether it's my disability or the fact that I'm isolated in some ways, but I find that I go out less. I only go certain places, you know.
Well, what you're saying basically is that the fear of what might happen affects the quality of your life.
It does.
The thing that you have the most control over is this experience you're having of fear, which is happening all the time. In effect, the self-defense you need is against yourself.
Well, it doesn't feel like I have a lot of control over that fear. You know what I mean?
Most people don't see it as something they can control, but they don't understand that it's energy or how to use it.
You feel the same fear?
Well, O Sensei said, I feel the same feeling you feel, that you call fear, but I call it a call to action. The fear itself is an intelligence of your system, and learning how to work with that energy makes the difference in how we handle ourselves in the self-defense situation of violent physical attack or in the self-defense situation of trying to fulfill our dreams in our lives. So the first principle that I'd like to show you is this concept of how to get more present, and it's an exercise that we call centering. We call that centering, when your physical body and your attention connect to each other.
Yeah. When Richard was trying to show me about centering, I at first it didn't make any sense to me. Why would this be important? I mean, it seemed like it was some foolishness that didn't have anything to do with real martial arts. I mean, it didn't seem like a punch or anything, you know what I'm saying? But I think that the ramifications of what centering are profound.
You know, you have good days where you're more connected and bad days where it just doesn't go as well. When I was having a bad day in class and my teacher was looking at me, and I looked at him, and my excuse was very quick. I'm really out of it tonight. And he was just as quick, and he said, but it is still there. Lean forward a little bit.
And then I'd come back and my whole body would relax, and I just sort of, it'd be like this sort of floating spot. And then he would have me lean back, and it would be like, again, I was using my body to fight against fight against balance. So it's like I'm fighting against myself. I felt that a lot, that I was fighting against myself.
What's the first thing you notice when you come back to center?
It relaxes, first of all. Everything relaxes. I was afraid I was going to fall forward. I was afraid I was going to fall backwards when I was leaning back. So I was constantly fighting against myself and fighting against something. When you said confidence, I thought that doesn't apply to this state. You know,
is this more confident than that state?
It feels a little more. Yeah, it feels more balanced, confident. I've got more choices. You feel like, well, what do I want to do, rather than the falling forward feels like you have to go that way. Your body is going that way. You know, it's like you're angry with somebody, and it feels like the anger takes on a life of its own, you know, that sort of thing. And this felt freeing. I felt centered. I felt that I relaxed and was able to be there, to experience the reality of what's happening around me so that I can make choices based on what really is happening, as opposed to my fear or my aggression.
When you're in a more centered place, you're going to tend to relax more.
Right.
And if we put you in a position where you were frightened, that same dynamic would be true. For instance, I'm now an IRS agent. Okay, you feel it? And do your centering. And tell me, do you feel it?
Yeah.
Okay, let me do another one with you. Take your wrist and bend it a little bit. Don't hurt yourself, but bring it right up to the edge where it feels uncomfortable. And then center a little bit. And you notice how the same amount of pressure doesn't bother you as much?
Amazing.
Yeah. So here, I'll give you a little bit more of an exercise with it. I'll put a little pressure on you. and see how do you handle centering in a similar way
Okay.
when someone else is putting pressure on you. And I'll do that by pushing on your chest, okay?
Okay.
But when I come to push you over, I don't want you to let me. Don't fall backwards, right? So with that intention there, that's what everybody does, is they
Right.
come out to fight what they think is going to be a problem.
Yep.
And that's where we live most of our life, in this fight, okay, or shrinking back from it.
I don't think that you're going to get into this cycle of larger and larger and larger fear building on itself. I think that's one thing that happens.
When you continue to relax, your weight goes into the earth. We'll call that grounding.
In that center spot, you're just relaxed and you're just receptive. I felt a lot more receptive to whatever was around me.
If we start to push it from behind a little bit, you start to fill in a little bit more, and you start to refine your sense of center. Now imagine me pushing on you, and the urge to come forward, and then center.
I feel less afraid, less controlled by my fear or my anger, and I feel as if I have more options.
Now imagine me attacking and wanting to shrink from it, and center and be present with it. Now imagine me attacking and coming out at me.
I just feel better. My presence, my body feels just a little more relaxed, better. I have a better experience of the world. I would think in every, I would think that your ability to hit the game of Go would be better if you were more centered and present.
It's the place you want to operate from.
You know.
Does this make sense now in terms of
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you can see if you were in a self-defense situation, you want
Right.
to get more into your own experience. You want
Right.
to get more in harmony with what's going on with you.
Right.
And then when you have bad days, you can get a little more centered and have a little better day. Or if you're in a bad physical, violent self-defense situation, you can get to the best place you can get to, and you can do the best you can do. And once you've done the best you can do, as my teacher says, there's nothing more you can do.
Right. I can feel that I could do a little better than this. You know, it's like anything you do, you can do it just a little bit better. And that's what I feel like with the centering, is that I could probably do a little better. I could probably center a little more than I'm centering at the moment. But I mean, I can't, there's got to be something else, because, I mean, it's not a matter of, I suppose, of being centered so you can relax and enjoy the punch when somebody hits you or something. There's something going on with the centering. It's obvious. There's got to be something else, right?
In that first stage, most people, if they're not prepared for a force in their life, the force just upsets them. Emotionally, mentally, physically. So now if you won't let it upset you, and it keeps pushing, then you can spend a long time and a lot of energy in this conversation. So all the energy goes into the conflict, and neither one of us is getting what we want, but we're making sure we don't get what we don't want.
And that you're not getting what you want.
Yeah, that's important, that you don't get what you want. And all of a sudden, I've forgotten that, wait a minute, didn't I want something? In the fight-flight modality, either you give way or you fight. Now we want to talk about this third option of working in harmony with the situation. I simply change my position, not my integrity, not my totality. I'm now in a very different relationship to your force, and you can feel that. I've pushed you, you fought with me, now I want you to blend with me.
In the confrontation, it felt like a confrontation, scary a little bit. It's obvious that we're just doing a demonstration so that the fear is minimized, but it's there. It feels like somebody's pushing me, and it feels a little scary.
Add something of what you want to it. Put your hand up.
Resisting felt like resisting, and you don't always feel that strong when you're resisting. And the blending felt a lot more centered. I mean, I kept losing my center on it, but...
Center a little bit while you're doing it. Keep doing it. Center a little bit. So now you see you're as effective as you were a moment ago, but it's easier and you're more in harmony with me. All right, so what we want to talk about is this tendency to lose this center, especially under pressure, when we're engaging in a situation.
I can feel it. I can feel it, yeah.
So under pressure, when you handle it and try blending with it, and that's very good. But you can feel it's going away now. This one's nowhere near as good. And then especially if the pressure starts to increase a little bit more, you can see how much you tend to lose your center. So now let's just do one more minute where you know that that's happening. Center again before the next one hits you. Now you can feel your ability and comfort with it increasing.
Well, yes, but I can also feel that I can't really do it.
Another one coming, so get ready. Okay, so you feel that one right there where you froze up? Yeah. That's what we're talking about. That's the place where we want to learn to let the energy flow and keep moving. Why don't you do one more? You're really doing very well. But you feel the improvement happening?
I do.
And you feel the shift in attitude towards the incoming pressure?
I do. I mean, it's not like I don't feel like a 5th-degree black belt. You know, but I do feel as if something happened here with me.
Yeah. Just notice where you are in relationship to center, and I'm going to guess it's nowhere near as good as it was when we started a few minutes ago. But how quickly can you get back to that feeling?
The experience of centering and becoming more rooted to the ground feels empowering. I suppose the reason that I keep saying something happened because it looks like, I mean, we're doing exercises that nobody's getting beat up for real. Is this real? Is there anything real about this? It feels like magic. I mean, it's obviously not magic, but it feels very profound. I don't feel that I'm in the danger that I felt that I was in. I mean, I feel like a lot of it was my attitude, you know, just my fear. The centering is very important, and you can see that it goes in 100 areas in your life. Blending and not direct confrontation, if you can do it, seems to me a lot more productive and to feel a lot better. It isn't like I feel like I could handle any situation, any physical situation like Bruce Lee or, you know, nothing like that happened. I mean, it's not even like I overcame my fear of what's been going on in my neighborhood. But my relationship to my fear has changed. You know, I mean, I thought at first that the problem was out here. There was these things happening in my neighborhood, and I see that the problem is internal. It's my fear, how I might exacerbate it and, you know, make it even stronger, whatever it is, or the creativity that I might add to something by not resisting, by not having fear and fighting be the things that are controlling everything.
Well, I think if you can take that idea of a different relationship with your fear and using that energy in a more creative way, you've gotten a lot.
Yeah, but it feels like what you offered me here has so much more to do with other kinds of situations that I will encounter.
The vast majority of people are never attacked physically. So to live in that fear irrationally, you know, is foolish. To use these skills to live in a more positive way in the world, all the days that you're not attacked, seems like the real value of it. And if you practice it, it will make you more effective in every situation, including a violent physical self-defense situation.